As everyone's coming in, I just want to thank you all for being here today, coming this afternoon to cover this. We're facing our first big storm of 2018, and certainly it's starting off with a bang, 2018, and hopefully it's not a sign of things to come like 2015, but we'll take a day at a time and see. But in all cases, we're ready for the storm as we move forward. This morning we met with all our department heads, public safety agencies, as well as all of our city services in this room to talk about preparing for this storm that we're facing us. As we discussed the latest forecast and preparation for the plan, and now in Boston we'll start seeing snow. We're planning around 4 a.m. and continuing to 9 p.m. tomorrow night. We're expecting anywhere from 8 to 12 inches of snow with very strong winds. Both rush hours in Boston will be affected by this. On Friday night and Saturday, we're going to have very cold weather, below zero, so it's important for us that we get this snow off of the ground as best we can tomorrow, because once the freeze comes in, it will be almost impossible to move the ice that will be formed. As always, public safety is our #1 priority. Our Emergency Operations Center will be activated starting at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. We're going to be getting out on the roads. We're getting out on the roads and the neighborhoods ready for this. We'll be pre-treating our roads starting tonight and getting as much of our roads salted and sanded. And we're also going to be pre-treating many of our sidewalks in our different areas of the city. We're making sure that everyone has the information they need to stay healthy and safe. City Hall will be open for business tomorrow, but only emergency personnel will be reporting, so we want to keep it open to keep the basic services moving forward here, so if people do come into town tomorrow, they'll be able to access some of the services. Boston Public Schools will be closed tomorrow. As always, Boston Public Schools are reaching out to every family to alert them of this change. We're closing them now so parents can make arrangements to get child care if they need it tomorrow. I know that the kids have been off for about a week and a half now, back in school today, and they'll be off tomorrow. We're not going to make any determinations on Friday yet. We can let people know about Friday depending on what happens with the snow tomorrow. We're going to be monitoring the weather very closely, and then we'll let you know. While schools are closed, our Boston Center for Youth and Family Centers will be open, and it's a great place to bring our kids. These are the off-site facilities, not the ones connected to our schools. So our centers will be open for families to be able to bring their kids, the standalone centers. They're open to children over the age of 7, and if anyone needs information on that, please go to boston.gov/BCYF for more information. That's boston.gov/BCYF for more information. We're out there on the roads. We're going to be ready for the storm. We have 40,000 tons of rock salt ready to be loaded and spread throughout the city of Boston. We're going to have 700 pieces of equipment starting tomorrow morning, going all through tomorrow as we clean the streets. Our prime focus will be cleaning sidewalks, main arteries, roadways, and responding to public safety requests and responding to people who call in as we move forward. I'm asking people to be patient. If it looks like your street hasn't been plowed, the amount of snow we're potentially going to get here, we could be plowing and a half hour later it could look like we didn't touch the street. We'll be out there plowing the streets consistently, so we're asking you to be patient with us. Boston Police and EMS have increased, and the Boston Fire Department have increased their presence, and they'll be ready to assist people in every neighborhood. As we've done in the past, the Boston Police are going to be available to help emergency personnel like doctors and nurses get to work. We're anticipating that the MBTA will be moving, but in case of when you get a large storm like that, it will affect tracks. So if it slows down, we will have the police and EMS taking people, doctors and nurses, to and from work. If you are an emergency personnel who needs to be transported to work, please call us at 311 to be connected, or call your local police district directly. So if you live in West Roxbury or South Boston or Roxbury, Mattapan, you can call the police station directly, or you can call 311 and we will arrange rides for you. 311 will be operational 24 hours a day, and we're going to put extra staff on so that we'll be able to handle the call volume that comes into the city to make sure that any questions that people might have will be able to be answered by a person on 311. They can also answer questions about things like closures, plowing, and finding a place to park. So if you have any questions on parking, restrictions that are going to go into effect, you'll be able to call 311. We can help you with that. We're asking everyone in Boston to do their part by helping us keep our city safe. Whenever possible, please stay off the roads. We're asking people to stay off the roads as best you can tomorrow so that we can get the trucks out there and get the plows out there. We're asking you to keep your kids in and around your house. We don't want kids out in the street because plow drivers won't be able to see the kids out there. I'm not sure if it's going to be whiteout conditions, but I'm anticipating whiteout conditions for part of the day tomorrow. So as our plows are out there, they won't see pedestrians. So I want you to be very careful. I know the pedestrian has the right of way in the crosswalks, but again, be very careful because plows can't stop on a dime in a lot of cases. It also means, in terms of space savers, the 48-hour rule will go into effect sometime tomorrow. We're asking people to, you can save a spot, but after the emergency ban has been lifted, your space save will no longer be able to be put in place, and we'll be removing those from the streets if you don't remove them from the streets. I will talk about that more tomorrow. This applies to every neighborhood in the city of Boston except the South End, where space savers are not allowed. 2 hours before a snow emergency goes into effect, we have free discounted parkings available for Boston residents in garages and lots throughout the city of Boston. We've been in contact with our parking garages to make sure that they know that that's going to happen. We're going to go in, a snow emergency goes into effect tomorrow at 7 a.m., right? 7 a.m.? 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. So you'll be able to, you have to get your cars off the street. After that, 7 o'clock in the morning, we're going to start towing cars off the street, ticketing and towing. So you really have to get your cars off the street before 7 a.m. tomorrow. If there are any changes, we're asking you to, for a full list of locations and other information, we're asking you to go to the website boston.gov/winter. That's boston.gov/winter. If there's any changes to the MBTA, you can also find this information on our website as well as the MBTA's website. Property owners in Boston are responsible for cleaning snow and ice from your sidewalks, in front of your house, from the curb to your property. We're asking you to help us with ramps, handicap ramps, to make sure as you shovel in front of your home, if you have a handicap ramp on the corner of your street, we're asking you to clean that out. This snow will be on the ground probably for a week because of the cold weather, and if we don't get the handicap ramps cleaned and quickly, it'll be nearly impossible for us to get the snow off there as we move forward in the next coming week. So we're asking you to help us with that. We're asking you to also help us with neighbors who are elderly or housebound or have health issues. We're asking if you could help us shovel them out as well as you move forward. If you have a fire hydrant, I can't stress this enough, in front of your home, we're asking you to make sure that you shovel out the fire hydrant, enough space so the fire department, God forbid, they go down the street, they can see the fire hydrant there. We're asking you also, if you have a catch basin in and around your property, to shovel the catch basin, because once this starts to melt, if the catch basins are full of snow, we won't be able to, the water won't be able to go down there, and with the cold weather, it could freeze and cause us other problems. And also, as I said earlier, handicap ramps. That doesn't always get done, but we're asking you to please shovel handicap ramps out if you can on the corner of your streets. Also, be safe. Clear away exhaust pipes before you start your car up. If you're going to start your car up to get it heated up, make sure no one's in your car, and also make sure you shovel the exhaust around the pipe because of carbon monoxide. And we're also reminding people to make sure you shovel the vents around your homes as well to avoid health risks. So any vents you might have for heating systems or for dryers in your home, make sure you shovel the vents out around your house. With a foot of snow and with some wind, snow drifts can go up against the house, and you could bury vents all over the place. To keep your pipes from freezing, we're asking you to keep your faucets dripping a little bit. It's something that you should take advantage of. In the last 7 days, we've received many calls, more than any other period since I've been here, of frozen pipes and pipes bursting. So if you keep a little bit of running water in your pipe, in your faucet, the pipes won't freeze. So we're asking you to do that. We're also asking you, don't turn off your heaters. If you go out and you have, or if you have Nest or Wi-Fi thermostats, override those and make sure that they stay on, that you keep your heat on in your home so you can keep your pipes from freezing, and it'll cause you less problems as you move forward. If you have any burst pipes or your heat fails, we're asking you to call 311. We'll do everything we can to help you. I know one thing right now, there's a shortage of plumbers in the city of Boston and probably in the Commonwealth, so we're asking you to try and prevent or avoid any type of pipes bursting in your home. If you see somebody who's out in the cold who might need assistance, we're asking you to just call 911 directly. We have had, in the last 7 days, our shelters have been full of people, and all of the private shelters have been full as well, and we're going to continue to be out there. But we're asking people, if you see somebody that might seem disorientated or somebody who shouldn't be out in the cold, if you call 911, we will get emergency personnel there to try and encourage them to come on in to a shelter. Our EMTs are on high alert, and they are equipped to respond to cold-related injuries and illnesses. Both of our city shelters, Woods Mullen and 112 Southampton Street, are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We are not, people are not being asked to leave those shelters. We're keeping people in those shelters if they will stay in those shelters. We're requesting that they do that because of the dangerous cold. During storms like this, our outreach teams will be working hard to encourage folks to come in off the street. We've been doing it all week to get people in. We've also been working with our state and nonprofit partners around the clock to make sure homeless individuals are safe and they stay in a warm place. We want to thank all of our partners who have helped us and stepped up to the plate in making sure that we provide the benefits and the services for folks. Like I said, we are monitoring this forecast very closely, and we're going to keep people informed. I encourage everyone again to sign up for the Alert Boston system if you haven't. It takes up to 2 minutes. Just Google Alert Boston. It'll take 2 minutes to sign up. We can notify you by phone, by text, by email in case of emergency updates. We also are following the City of Boston on Twitter to stay up to date. We're going to constantly put messages out as we get through today and tomorrow and into Friday to let people know of the circumstances that they might be experiencing. Boston's certainly no stranger to big storms, and we know that it's easy to get through it when we help each other out. So we're asking people to be patient and help each other out. I want to remind people again to check on your neighbors who might be elderly or sick, and make sure that as people go out and shovel, be careful. Take your time while you're shoveling to clear paths on your sidewalks, and make sure that you dress appropriately. Throughout the storm and through this cold temperature and throughout the weekend, please visit our website at boston.gov/winter for more information. Hopefully we won't get any more of these storms. One's enough for me this year, so it'll be fine for all of us. But no matter what, we're going to be ready here in the City of Boston. I want to thank all of you for being here, and as always, I want to thank the media because your information is so important to get out to people. I want to thank you. Many of you, different stations, have given different tips on how to handle the cold and what to do, and this has been an unusually cold stretch here. We set a record, I think, yesterday, 7 days consistently under 20 degrees. We have snow today, snow tomorrow, I should say, and then we go right back to the cold weather again. So we're asking people to be careful, be safe, and be warm. I don't know if I missed anything. And with that, and tickets, just so people know, there will be, if you don't shovel your sidewalks, we will be out writing tickets for people not shoveling the sidewalk. And when I say writing tickets, that also means the city property. So city property is expected to shovel like everyone else, and if the city property is not shoveled, we will be ticketing those agencies as well. With that, I'll open up for questions. I think the biggest challenge is the cold afterwards, and some of you might want to jump in here, but usually when we have a storm like this, we don't have sub-zero weather a few days right after. So if we don't get as Mike Broll said earlier today, if we don't get the main thoroughfares plowed from corner to corner, from curb to curb, I should say, that snow could be there for a while, and that would be a loss of parking spaces, and that would then make these streets smaller in the middle to travel down. So we're asking people, please get your cars off the street. We're asking people not to plow in the street, not to shovel in the street. We're asking businesses on main thoroughfares, do not be plowing in the street. If you plow in the street, we will be getting you with fines because that snow will not go anywhere. So we're asking people to be coordinated efforts with all of us as we remove the snow.
Because of that situation, is there any different technique for plowing or things that you're doing differently because of that situation?
Well, we bought a couple truck-mounted snow blowers in 2016, right after the 2015 weather. We didn't get a chance to use them in 2016, but we did use them last year. So we'll be removing a lot of snow off the street. Rather than plowing it and pushing it, we will have those truck-mounted snow blowers taking it off the street. So you hopefully will see a little less snow on the street, and that's one of the biggest things we've done. But you know, as far as it really depends upon getting help from the public. If we can keep people off the street, we can get these plows down main thoroughfares without cars on the street. That's key. Because if you have to go around cars, that makes it more difficult. And again, as I said, whatever snow is missed tomorrow, and by tomorrow night, when Friday comes, that snow turns into ice, and a plow can't move the ice.
So in terms of people seeking shelter for whatever reason, you mentioned shelter
No, there's capacity. Yeah, this capacity in our shelters. I mean, we have Pine Street was on television last night talking about how they had additional beds. We brought in additional beds as well into our shelters. One of the beauties of our shelter on 112 Southampton Street is we're able to build out a kitchen area for people to come and lounge and enjoy. So what we can do at night, we can turn those into bed areas, and in the morning turn those back into food areas. So we have the ability to be able to do that. And I think we added almost 100 new cots in our shelter. So we have, from what I understand right now, we have more than enough beds for everyone that's needs it because of the extra capacity we have there. Yeah. Yeah, no, not residents, emergency personnel. So if you're a nurse or a doctor and you work in the hospitals, it happened in 2014 where the public transportation went down because of so much snow. So the police were able to drive people to and from work. And I think at that point some other agencies helped out as well. This is to get doctors and nurses to and from hospitals to help them if they need a ride. Because we're asking people not to be on the roads. So some of the transportation the hospitals might provide, they might not be able to provide tomorrow. So we're asking emergency personnel to help us with the nurses and doctors. Yeah, the governor's going to have a press conference at 4, I believe, and he's going to talk about so everything we're doing is working hand in hand with him. So everything we've done is with the state. We've worked very closely with the state on this. So I think the messages are going to be very similar. It's not necessarily a driving ban, but we're encouraging people not to drive on the roads. I mean, we're asking people not to come in. I mean, City Hall, we're going to ask them. I'm asking employers in the city of Boston if people can work from home, let them work from home tomorrow. Because of the weather. I don't know if I don't think there'll be a state of emergency declared in the state, but for the city, there's a emergency parking ban in place. So any employers that are willing to allow their workers to work from home, we're encouraging that. That's why we went to emergency personnel here in City Hall. We want to keep City Hall open in case somebody needs to pay a bill or do something like that. But for the most part, we're asking city employees to stay home as well tomorrow to keep them off the road. And we're asking them to check their voicemail from home if there's any situations that need to be addressed. Hold on a second. One second. I'm confident, but you're thinking when there's a foot of snow on the ground, there's going to be issues with anything. I mean, if you have a brand new car in the driveway and it's sub-zero weather for 7 straight days and you have a foot of snow on the ground, you're going to have a hard time with a brand new car. So I think that I would expect there'll be some delays tomorrow. I know that the state has done some incredible upgrades on the T, and they have a system in place. The workers will be there tomorrow and making sure that they move the system along. But if you get a foot of snow on Commonwealth Avenue in the Green Line, I mean, there's going to be issues with trains and trolleys and buses and things like that. So everyone's going to have an issue tomorrow. So I think we have to be patient with that tomorrow.
Mr. Mayor, you mentioned about tweeting information about the city, statistical and stuff
Yeah.
like that in terms of the public, releasing information to the public using Twitter. The president has released some tweets, as you know, in regards to the leadership of North Korea, the nuclear arsenal, this back and forth. Does the president's tweet back and forth adversely affect us here in Boston?
I think this is a snow conference, but I think what the president's tweets are doing, I think I think it adversely affects the entire world. I mean, that's pretty scary last night, what was going back and forth, and it's not the way that a leader of our country should be acting through Twitter. The information, we use Twitter. We don't do policy in Twitter. We don't put our policy out. We might explain things on Twitter, but the reason we're using our Twitter tomorrow is for the intention, I think, was there, social media, to let people know of alerts that might happen or problems we might have if something goes on. I think that's a separate conversation for a different press conference. Any other questions or concerns?
Well, just in terms of city contracts, I know that every year, every couple of years, maybe you can sort of go back over the contracts that are in place for snow removal, and it's always shifting around. Is there anything substantially different this year? Do you feel, I know sometimes it's hard to get manpower out there for the city of Boston.
No, I think this year I think we're in the middle of a contract, so we're in good shape. We have the same people that are covering the areas from last year, covering this year. I mean, I think it's important. We do multi-year contracts, so I think it's, the companies are familiar with the areas, they're familiar with the roads. Oftentimes, the private contractors we bring in know the roads, they know the streets, they know the people. So I think that it's important to have consistency. And this year, we didn't change the routes around, so the people that are going to be covering different neighborhoods will be the same companies that covered them last year, I think, and the year before. So I feel confident that they know the roads as good as anybody. Anything else? All right, thanks, everybody. Thank you.